of the minutes for our February 18th meeting. Any additions or corrections to those minutes?
I have none, Alan.
Okay.
None.
Okay, the motion be to approve the Thursday, February 18th, 2020 Board of Supervisor meeting minutes as presented. I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that, Alan.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Land planning, Mr. Lead. Your mic's muted.
Good evening. We'll dive right into the first item listed there, Mount Zion Baptist Church. They have, that's the project along Denver Road. They have been in a holding pattern for quite a period of time here and have provided a written time extension. If accepted, the time extension would extend the deadline for action until June 13th, 2021. So unless there's any further questions on that project, my recommendation would be that you make a motion to accept the written time extension offer as submitted by the applicant's consultant dated February 26th, 2021, which will extend the deadline for action on the Mount Zion Baptist Church final land development plan until June 13th, 2021. And I did not expect anybody to participate.
Okay. I'm looking for that motion.
I'll make that motion, Alan.
I'll second it, Alan.
Okay. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next project is Wabash Landing Phase 2 final plan subdivision land development. Currently, the applicant and applicant's consultants are working to address PennDOT comments primarily associated with the access onto Stevens Road. So they also have submitted a written time extension offer. So unless there's other specific project questions, the motion would be to accept the time extension offer as submitted by the applicant's consultant dated February 22nd, 2021, which will extend the deadline for action on the Wabash Landing Phase 2 final subdivision land development plan until May 2nd, 2021.
Anybody here representing that one? Okay. I'll
No.
make that motion. Need a
I
second.
will second that.
Okay, other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next item listed on the agenda is earth, turf, and wood, and I was intending to provide a little update from the following meeting, or it would have been 2 meetings ago when the board had been approached and had a discussion relative to aspects of the project, majority of which related to the transportation impact fee determination letters that had been received prior to that. Towards the end of that discussion, it was agreed that if a floor plan was shared, further understanding of the building itself, the layout, the intended use, which as was presented at the discussion with the board, portions of the building are primarily in storage. So that floor plan was shared with the township to confirm that. The township's transportation engineer had additional discussions with the applicant's transportation engineer and had initially there was request to exclude that portion of the building totally from the calculation. The next evolution of those discussions was to reclassify that portion of the building as warehouse and provide a credit for the removal of a residential structure, which is also part of the overall project. So, and with a net total increased peak PM trip calculation of, I think it's 16. So that information had been going back and forth, and there was some correspondence as recent of today from the applicant's consultant confirming that, and John Schick, the township's transportation engineer, indicated he felt that determination and that approach was appropriate. So that was kind of my update on that, unless there was any other further discussions that others had or wanted.
No further comments, so.
If
Thank you.
not, then
I want to thank you and John for what you did.
yeah, our approach would be then to proceed to communicate with the applicant on other aspects of the project. As far as general update, they did receive a response from PennDOT on a proposed connection to PennDOT's storm sewer system. That was one of the items they were looking to obtain, but they have not received any feedback from DEP or the Conservation District relative to the NPDES permit that they're seeking. And if any example is going to play out similar to Red Run exhaust, it could be 6 months or more till information is provided back on that submission. So no real motion at this point. The plan will be back before you at some time in the future.
Okay.
Next item, Four Seasons Produce. Well, I had indicated before the meeting started that if the board was open to the idea, the consultants are in agreement that we proceed to jump to the next item, which would be Heatherwood's lot annexation plan. It's a very simple item, so I assume you're fine with that? Okay.
Yep.
The next item, jumping ahead one, is Heatherwood's lot annexation plan for lots 26 and 27. This is located within the Heatherwoods development under construction portions. There was a phase 3 final plan approved and a phase 4 and 5 final plan approved. This proposed plan simply swaps a portion of the side yard between those two lots, one of which was formed as part of 3 and the other one formed as part of 4 and 5, and a slight swapping of property from one to the other to better accommodate driveway turnaround and certain grading and satisfy Burke's Homes purchasers. So the plan was reviewed by the Planning Commission. We had issued a prior plan review letter to the applicant. The County Planning Commission also reviewed the project with, I think it was one comment relative to the certification. So really not much to discuss there. I could answer any questions if you had them. If not, the motion, there's 2 motions. One would be to grant conditional approval. The second one would be to authorize signature upon confirmation that all conditions of approval have been satisfied. So the motion would be to grant conditional approval of the lot annexation plan for Heatherwoods lots 26 and 27, condition upon the applicant addressing all items outlined in the Becker Engineering Review Letter dated February 10th, 2021 to the satisfaction of the township solicitor and township engineer.
Is anybody representing that plan here tonight?
Joyce Gerhard is present
Oh,
from
hi.
RGS.
Do you want to say anything about the plan or?
No, Brett described it. I mean, I do have it available if you want to see it, but it's really just swapping about 800 square feet from one lot to the other.
Okay,
And everything is in compliance with the zoning areas and setbacks and all the requirements. Both lots still meet all the requirements.
Jeff and RC, you okay with that?
Yeah, I am, Alan.
RC, okay. Okay, I'll make that motion, Brett.
And I'll second that, Alan.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
And then the next motion related to that plan would simply be to authorize the Board of Supervisors to sign the lot annexation plan for Heatherwoods lots 26 and 27 upon the applicant addressing all conditions of approval and submitting signed and sealed plans to the satisfaction of the township and township engineer.
Okay. Somebody make that motion?
I'll make that motion, Alan.
I'll second. Any other comments or questions? Home?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a good evening.
You too.
The next item on the agenda is the Four Seasons Produce preliminary final land development plan. Todd Schoaf from Pioneer Management is on the call, and I think Randy Groff is also on the call representing Four Seasons Produce. I'll give a little intro. There are, I'll say, numerous waiver modifications that are the main goal of tonight's discussion. It would be to introduce the project to you, update you on the status of outside agency comments and approvals, recommend or provide you with the recommendations that the Planning Commission recently gave relative to the project and the Lancaster County Planning Commission, and then seek action to resolve the waiver modifications so that Todd can then proceed to update the plans and respond to that information and prior comments issued from our office. So the overview of the project, and Penny, you have the plan up, or? It consists of, and the first point to make is that when Four Seasons originally developed this property back, Todd, maybe Todd can identify, I think 2003.
2004, yeah.
2004, plan approvals, and then the construction 2000. The site was master planned to accommodate very similar addition to the one that's being proposed now. So overall, the site was intended to accommodate a warehouse expansion similar to this. There are some slight modifications to that, possibly some increased trailer parking, and another option relative to employee, possible additional associate parking. The stormwater requirements from back at the original date were different than the current ones. As a result, the applicant has to obtain an NPDES permit and address some of the increased stormwater runoff requirements associated with the current permitting, which requires a supplemental stormwater facility to be constructed, I'll say, north of the existing basin along Route 272. So the expansion is about 129,000 square feet to what you would call the rear or the Ephrata side of the facility. They are also showing a possible future expansion as part of this of another 21,000 square feet. Be adjusted. That new addition will have a dock face on it for additional dock doors, and the additional associate parking that is being contemplated is also on the 272 side of the existing employee access drive entering the site. So they have submitted the plan to the Lancaster County Conservation District for an NPDES permit approval or awaiting comment. They have submitted the plan to Lancaster County Planning Commission, have received 2 comments primarily related to landscaping, which Todd could touch on later on, about native plants. And they have submitted to the authority and confirmed that they currently have adequate sanitary sewer capacity and available water. So we issued a review letter on the project, which they are in receipt of and was discussed at length with the Planning Commission in addition to the waivers. And the focus of this discussion will be on the waivers themselves. They did provide a traffic impact study in accordance with pre-application discussions with the township and the township's transportation engineer to evaluate the intersection of Wabash Road and 272. The study essentially indicated that intersection has adequate capacity and will have adequate capacity for the future horizon years that are required to be evaluated by the township subdivision land development ordinance. In addition to that intersection, they did evaluate Line Road and Wabash Road. And one of the future waivers to be discussed is related to a slight additional delay in one of those movements, which the township transportation engineer finds acceptable and worthy of consideration of a waiver. So I think that's my broad brush overview. I'll turn it over to Todd, maybe just to fill in any blanks, and maybe Randy wants to highlight the interest in proceeding with this expansion project and the approval of the land development plan.
Sure. Thank you, Brent, for the concise description of the plan. I will add, as it relates to agency review and comments, today we did receive the authorities' comments for water and sewer design review. I would like to point out, however, that the water and sewer design is all internal. There are no proposed connections outside of the subject tract. It's really just relocating existing water and sewer services into tract based off of encroachments of the proposed expansions. I would like to make is that on the plan that you're looking at now, the darker dashed line represents the areas in which improvements are proposed. And the area up to the upper left-hand corner really is for utility expansions. The vast majority of the improvements are going to be on the opposite side of the building, opposite of Wabash Landing. That's where all the building expansion is going to occur, and the truck parking. On the right side of the plan, adjacent to North Reading Road, that dashed line represents a potential parking lot, which we are currently asking relief from the zoning hearing board to make a determination on the overall parking stalls required for the tract. But the dashed line also represents stormwater management facilities, upgrades of the existing basin, and including a new infiltration facility. So really from Wabash Road, you really won't see any new building expansion or parking expansions. Everything's tucked behind the existing facility. As Brent stated, we are in receipt of the township engineer's review comments. We have had a few conversations with Mr. Lead as it relates to addressing those comments, and we are in the process of making the appropriate plan changes. We are in receipt of the Township Planning Commission's recommendation for the multitude of waivers. They did recommend approval of all of those. And as Brent stated here this evening, we are hoping to gain approvals of those modification requests so that we can proceed on with the land development review and ultimately approval. So I'd be happy to go over in fine detail any one of Mr. Lead's comments or any questions you may have regarding the entire project.
Thank you. Okay, Brent. Your mic's muted.
Yeah, did Randy want to touch on any aspects or comments from the applicant's standpoint? If not,
Yeah,
okay. Yep.
I can do that. Thanks, Brett. It basically is a cold storage addition. You know, we're putting a small operations office to the south of the expansion. It's 2 stories. It'll be about 3,500 to 4,000 square feet on each floor for operational associates to be relocated over to that space. So the majority of the expansion is cold storage for product. It's not for additional associates, so to speak. So we are relocating that line of trailers that you see to the south of the we're pushing that back about 30 feet, which will gain us another 30 feet onto the warehouse expansion. So that's the whole reason for this plan. We are, planning for a future packing expansion. That's the 20,000 square feet that Brent talked about, just to the east of the current expansion, but that'll be in the future. Again, that'll just be cold storage expansion for our packing operation. So,
All right, if there aren't any other project-specific questions, we'll go to the waivers. General overview of the waivers, some are procedural type items and others relate to relatively minor items that we have typically dealt with on numerous other projects. One or two relate to some landscaping things and some unique aspects relative to easements and utilities and kind of a shifting of the landscaping to try to be consistent with the intent of the requirement, but need some relief. And then a few are related to stormwater. So I'll dive right in. The first one would be a standard waiver modification related to the preliminary plan processing requirements and allow the plan to be submitted as a combined plan. Obviously, this is significantly different than a greenfield site where you're starting from scratch. This site has all perimeter infrastructure in place, curb, sidewalk, access points, utilities, majority of the perimeter landscaping. So really no sense in having a two-step process. So the motion would be to approve a waiver modification of section 194.9 of the East Cocalico Township subdivision land development ordinance related to preliminary plan processing, authorize the plan to be submitted and reviewed as a combined plan, meeting the requirements of both preliminary and final plan.
I'll make that motion. Need a second?
I'll second that, Alan.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next one relates to locating existing features. Once again, if it's a new project and there's significant potential issues around the perimeter of the project area, interests on impacts, et cetera, the scope of that survey work and detailed information to be presented on the plan sometimes is appropriate. In this case, they are not really altering any of those things. We have good definition on the stormwater discharge from the site. It does go into existing conveyance systems that were previously. So interests on those type of issues are diminished. So the motion would be to approve a waiver modification of section 194.14C4 of the East Cocalico Township subdivision land development ordinance related to depicting existing features, to authorize the applicant to provide LiDAR topography and GIS information 100 feet beyond the perimeter boundary as currently depicted on the plan.
Looking for a motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion, Alan.
I'll second that, Alan.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next one relates to oversized parking spaces. The ordinance requirement is that facilities such as this or any facility in the commercial and industrial area provide oversized parking. The standard for that is pull-through style. They, like any other warehouse for efficiency, have back-in style internal to their site. So the motion would be to authorize a waiver modification of section 194.30R1 of the East Cocalico Township subdivision land development ordinance related to drive-through capability for oversized parking spaces, to authorize back-in type spaces as depicted on the current plan as submitted.
I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
And the next one also relates to oversized parking spaces. The next one pertains to signage. I would just comment that the drive-through capabilities and those concerns are most appropriate in more of the retail commercial areas where you're trying to accommodate vehicles strange to the site and trying to maneuver through the site without adversely impacting others being directed to appropriate locations. So in this case, the motion would be to approve, related to signage, would be to approve a waiver modification of section 194.30R3 of the East Cocalico Township subdivision land development ordinance related to oversized parking spaces, on-site signage, to authorize the use of numbered stalls and the usage of guidance of the on-site security and check-in personnel at the guardhouse.
Looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion, Alan.
I'll second it. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next two are the ones related to landscaping, and I might let Todd jump in here. The first one pertains to street trees and requirements along the frontage of the property, and this would be primarily the Route 272 or North Reading Road frontage. So Todd, why don't you provide some additional background on that item?
Sure, thank you, Brent. So the ordinance requires street trees to be provided along public roadways. Along Route 272, within the subject tract, there is a multitude of utilities and a multitude of easements that parallel 272. They include sanitary sewer lines, storm sewer lines, overhead electric lines, and based off of the township's ordinance, street trees shall be located within the vicinity of the right-of-way and the setback. Well, installing those trees would encroach within those easements and impact the existing utilities. So we're requesting a waiver to not provide those street trees along the 272 frontage. However, if you're familiar with the site and you look further within the property, Four Seasons has a multitude of existing mature vegetation throughout the entire tract. And within their site, in between their existing access drive, which is most closest to 272, there is a line of mature trees. And we would like to consider those trees as being the street trees, being that there are more than enough existing trees in that location than what would be required to be placed immediately adjacent to Route 272.
Thank you.
So the motion would be to approve a waiver modification of section 194-41C of the East Cocalico Township subdivision land development ordinance related to street trees, to authorize the street trees not to be provided along North Reading Road 272 and continue to utilize existing vegetation along Wabash Road.
Makes sense to me. I'll make that motion.
I'll second that, Alan.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next landscaping waiver modification relates to buffer yards. Every industrial or general commercial property is required to have a certain width buffer yard with a certain number of plantings per so many square foot of that buffer. So I'll let Todd explain where this particular waiver modification applies and how they're attempting to document consistency with the ordinance intent.
So the subject tract is zoned I-1 light industrial, and within the zoning district, there is a requirement to provide a 20-foot landscaping buffer along the perimeter of the entire tract. Within that perimeter, in each property, along each property line, there's a requirement that states that one tree needs to be provided for, I believe, every 750 square. As I indicated earlier, Four Seasons has an extensive landscaping plan and a great maintenance plan for the entire property. And along all property lines, there is existing vegetation, mature vegetation. However, some of that vegetation is not located within the 20-foot landscape strip. It's located maybe beyond, some instances, maybe a foot or two, some instances, maybe 30 feet from the property line. But nonetheless, that existing vegetation, all of it is not located within the required buffer. What we're asking relief from is to still consider that existing vegetation as the landscape strip, but allow it to be outside the required 20-foot perimeter. In addition, we are providing additional landscaping pretty much along every property line, which would, I guess you can consider it infill of the existing vegetation to fill in some of the gaps that are currently there. We do meet the total number of trees. Actually, we we exceed the total number of trees required. But we just hope that we can utilize the existing vegetation because it is in such great shape.
And the area primarily associated with this, as he noted, I think, to the south and a little bit to the southwest. And as Todd mentioned, while the Wabash frontage, the operation on that side of the facility is not going to change in terms of the building appearance, the parking stays the same, the fleet maintenance, all that area remains the same. They have agreed in response to some review comments to place some additional infill vegetation along there to further enhance that, but that is essentially an existing condition along there. I just wanted to reiterate what Todd said there. So the motion would be to approve a waiver modification of section 194-41D2 of the East Cocalico Township Subdivision Land Development Ordinance related to the distribution of landscaping materials associated with a buffer yard area to allow the counting of existing and proposed material as required, but to have the vegetation located outside the 20-foot landscape strip.
I'll make that motion, Alan.
Okay. I'll second it. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next motion relates to the traffic impact study that was performed by the applicant's transportation consultant, ELA, reviewed by the township transportation consultant, Ritu, John Schick. John was unable to participate in the call, but was involved with the planning commission discussion in detail. And essentially, the Wabash Road, South Line Road intersection revealed that in the future horizon year 2027, there was an additional delay of approximately 1.5 seconds, which triggered the level of service for that particular approach to dip and would require technically a waiver modification from the ordinance. John had suggested that to make sure that all the bases are covered, that they apply for that waiver. They have since done that. John has issued correspondence and a memo dated the 22nd, summarizing any transportation impact study questions and including in there a recommendation and an indication that he supports the applicant's request for a waiver for that intersection. Based, as he says, this increase of delay will be minuscule and will not impact the overall intersection level of service A. So I didn't know if there was any further questions. If not, the motion would be to approve a waiver modification of section 194-14E404 of the East Cocalico Township Subdivision Land Development Ordinance related to requirements to maintain the level of service at intersections with a rating of C or lower as it relates to the northbound approach of Wabash Road at South Line Road based on the limited increased delay identified.
Make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next motion has been consistently offered to other applicants and identified as a future item for an update in the saldo, and that would be to approve a waiver modification of section 194-33-1 of the East Cocalico Township Subdivision Land Development Ordinance related to the requirements related to vertical curb depth of concrete curb, to authorize the use of standard PennDOT 18-inch deep vertical curb for the proposed internal site curbing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it, Alan.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
As also previously referenced in various other projects, the interest in reducing the requirements and associated costs for concrete monumentation along right-of-ways and try to be strategic about it and only require where appropriate, where conflicts don't exist with other infrastructure, and in a manner that's adequate based on today's surveying technology to reestablish the right of way if necessary. Of a waiver modification of section 194-37 of the East Cocalico Township subdivision land development ordinance related to requirements for installation of concrete monuments along the public right of way, to authorize a reduction in the required monuments to limit direct conflict with existing sidewalk, ramps, and similar site features, and permit alternate markings in those locations.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it, Alan.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Those were the only ones related to subdivision land development. There are 4 waiver modifications related to the stormwater side of things. The first one relates to the existing basin embankment. Majority, they're taking the existing basin, the main basin, and modifying or retrofitting the bottom portion of that basin to get some additional capacity, and a little bit of the northern portion of it to excavate and extend the basin for additional volume. And that is all in addition to constructing a supplemental feature, shallow stormwater feature north of the existing basin to do some pre-treatment and in addition address NPDES volume requirements. So the request pertains here to the berm, which the majority of the basin is actually excavated. It is in a cut condition as opposed to a fill condition, and only a limited portion of the upper portion of the basin would be in a fill or berm condition. So maybe I'll let Todd just touch on it if there's any further comments he wanted to make before I read the suggested motion that was passed by the Planning Commission, recommended by the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Brent. As you stated, the vast majority of the basin is in an excavation situation versus fill. And it would be our professional opinion to go in and remove that existing berm and replace it with new material would just increase disturbance and could actually impact the structural integrity of the basin itself. So it would be our opinion just to leave the existing berm as is without regrading it.
So the motion would be to approve a waiver modification section 190 or 185 14C6 of the East Cocalico Township Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to basin embankment soil structure and characteristics to allow the continued utilization of the existing basin embankment in lieu of reconstruction, conditioned upon the applicant's engineer or geotechnical consultant providing a letter of support.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next motion pertaining to stormwater has to do with the extended dewatering time. In this case, they're asking to be authorized to exceed the 24-hour dewatering and utilizing some of that for rate control. Bottom line is we are on board with the approach they're providing. They've analyzed the basin under different configurations in terms of when portions of the basin are full and subsequent events occur. The benefits of delayed dewatering also improve water quality. So there's a dialing in of the benefits. You can empty a basin more rapidly, but lose opportunity for water quality benefits potentially. So they are pursuing, as referenced earlier in the meeting, an NPDES permit. So this issue will also be incorporated in DEP or the Conservation District's review of their NPDES permit. So the motion would be to approve a waiver modification of section 185-24D of the East Cocalico Township Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to basin dewatering time to allow the basin dewatering time to exceed 24 hours for rate control storage, conditioned upon the applicant obtaining applicable NPDES permit approval and addressing the stormwater comments as outlined in the Becker Engineering Review Letter dated February 22nd, 2021, to the satisfaction of the township and township engineer.
Look for a motion.
I will make that motion, Alan.
I'll second it. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next one pertains to basin fencing. The current facility is not fenced. The request is that following the modification of the facilities, that fencing not be required. This, as all the waivers was discussed, the planning commission and recommended it for approval. So I don't know if Todd has any further comments to add. If not, the motion as recommended would be to approve a waiver modification of section 185-28A8 of the East Cocalico Township Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to basin fencing for basins with side slopes greater than 5 to 1 and depths exceeding 5 feet to allow the modified basin to remain unfenced.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
And the last storm easements for stormwater, and the way this facility was originally laid out, it did accommodate I'll call it a trunk line or a main stormwater line on the south side or the expansion side of the facility. That stormwater main conveyance system is located outside of the proposed dock face, but in 2 locations would cross under proposed appendages to the building, these equipment or other areas that extend off the warehouse. And all they're asking here is that they not be asked to show that inside an easement. The plan is acknowledging all these stormwater facilities are private. They are responsible to own and maintain them. There will be a stormwater easement agreement confirming that. This is just a matter of requesting that an easement not be depicted, which would end up being through a portion of the building. So the motion would be to approve a waiver modification of section 185-33A of the East Cocalico Township Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to drainage easements for stormwater piping, to authorize the easements to be omitted within 2 limited areas where the pipe is proposed to be located under certain portions of the new building. I would side comment onto there that they are replacing those pipes with new concrete pipes to ensure long-term integrity. But once again, it's a private feature which they are responsible to own and maintain.
I'll
Okay,
make that
Alan.
motion.
Al, you got that?
You
Go ahead.
second it?
I'll second it.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
There were some various other comments within my review that were discussed. And with the planning commission, I don't know if we wanted to get into any of those in light of the length of time we've taken, but Todd, maybe one for the board, just as an FYI for consideration for future discussions, because the goal would be that they address the comments and they come back to you for conditional approval. At such time, they have hopefully NPDS permit feedback from the Conservation District. One item that was touched on in the review, didn't direct or in any way, was simply saying that currently there isn't any street lighting along the frontages there. There are numerous utility poles along both 272 and Wabash. So the township has had different discussions in the past about trying to maybe minimize street lighting and keep it limited. And then I know there's others that have interest in it. So it really wouldn't change the project. I think it would more or less be something the township coordinates or can coordinate with PP&L if it ever becomes of interest, but you can give it some consideration between now and the next time this project's discussed to see if it's the current conditions are deemed acceptable for the near future, I guess. Todd, I didn't know if anybody had any comments on that, or you'll just take that for what it is. And Todd, were there any other items?
So as it relates to the lighting, we did provide an additional lighting plan as part of the land development plan to provide lighting within the site for the additional truck loading areas, parking areas, and access. There is existing light poles out along both access drives coming into the site. However, we were not proposing any lighting within the street, within the street right of way itself. As you get further, I'll say west along Wabash Road, that is a residential area with some residential homes. And we felt not adding lights or more lights right in front of our homes would be a benefit. So we just proposed to provide the necessary lighting all internal to the tract itself.
Which is full cutoff fixtures compliant with current standards.
That's correct.
Was there anything else you wanted to discuss while you had the board?
Nothing really comes to mind, Brent. We are in the process of addressing the comments. We do have an intent to either sit down with Brent or have a Zoom meeting with him to discuss each comment item by item to better help his office and himself review our resubmission, and just to make sure that we're online in regards to what he was actually requesting. There are a multitude of comments that involve the fire marshal and looking at various access connections and whatnot. And I know Mr. Luongo has a set of our plans, and he has already been in contact with the fire marshal and is looking forward with that review. So unless he has anything to add in regards to that nature, I think that we can work internally to address all the comments.
Any other comments from the board? Chad?
Here. All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Mackley would like.
These questions are going to be either for Todd or Brent, or it could be the supervisor. So I'll start off with Todd. You talked about 129,000 square foot addition. 21, is that correct?
Yes.
How many new docks is that addition going to add? I didn't hear that number.
39 on the produce expansion, and right now approximately 5 on the packaging expansion.
So basically 44.
Yes.
All right. And I think the comment was made that you're going to ask your applicant, or you are going to ask for a waiver on the TIF. You don't, John Schick has assumed that 44 more trucks coming in there isn't going to change anything?
No,
Did I misunderstand, bro?
yeah, let me clarify. The reference to when I said traffic impact study, and actually they did the study. So that was the first step, is based on the size of the expansion, the number of trips generated, they were obligated by the ordinance to analyze certain intersections in proximity. So they did that. That information is what was shared with John Schick. They have not sought any relief relative to the traffic impact fee, which is above and beyond the study itself. So preliminarily, their consultant identified trips that would trigger the traffic impact fee to be paid. And Todd had sent correspondence referencing that amount. Off the top of my head, I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of what, 117,000, Todd?
I was going to say 116.
116, yeah.
116,000. So those two additions combined do produce additional peak PM trips, and those peak PM trips resulted in a current calculated fee of that value there. They are adding that in. One of John Chick's comments in his review was that that information also be incorporated in the site's traffic impact study. So one document has a summation of all that. So John has not absolutely finalized his review of that number, but for now, that's the number that as it stands.
All righty, well, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Todd, this new addition, is it going to require any new roof chillers?
There will be chillers. Is that correct, Randy?
Yeah, there'll be additional chillers, but they'll be on the ground level. They won't be up on the roof.
Okay, and when you made your application to the water authority, I know the last time you guys weren't involved in it, but the last time when the building was put up, the authority was not given all the information about roof chillers, and so the authority now knows that they're going to be there, how much water is required because of the use of those chillers.
Yeah, that's correct. That was all calculated and submitted, and we're seeking additional EDUs for the expansion.
Okay, and as far as the discharge of that chiller water, that's being taken care of too?
That's correct, by MPDS permit.
All righty. The stacking of trucks along Wabash Road with all this additional space you're putting on site, is there going to be adequate facilities to be able to get these trucks off of Wabash? I've driven past there numerous times and there's 1, 2, 3 of them lined up out front because they can't get into property.
Yeah, I'll touch on that first and then let them respond. Doug, that was a key item that was outlined to the applicant and their consultant when they reached out to the township for a pre-application discussion. We indicated, the current layout does not provide a tremendous amount of staging, so outside of the checkpoint while still being on site, as some other facilities do and some other facilities don't in the township. So we raised that as a concern and said, make sure your traffic study evaluates what's occurring today and you come up with a plan to address that issue as part of your study and your overall operational procedure. So with that said, I'll turn it over to them, Randy, to explain what the response was.
Yeah, and our response immediately was to initiate a policy at the guardhouse that if there is any stacking on Wabash Road, that the guard takes the driver's information that's at the guard shack and has him pull off to the side so that the next truck can come in. They can then, take care of the paperwork afterwards. So I think up until this point, that hasn't been done, but we are instituting that with the guards, so that'll free up Wabash Road more in the future. And this expansion, just so everyone knows, right now we're receiving and shipping on the current side, which is 39 doors, and we're looking to receive on the expansion 39 doors and ship on the existing 39 doors. So given the additional 39 dock doors that we're going to get with the expansion, I would think that in the future, that would alleviate the trucks coming off of Wabash Road, because we'll have more space for them to get into. Right now, we're kind of limited on dock doors with 39 and spaces around the facility. So I think in the future, it is now.
Okay, thank you. Just one last question. I think I heard it was discussed that there's not going to be a fence around the detention facility. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're proposing no fence.
And is that facility going to be made deeper than what it is, or did I misunderstand that?
We're reconfiguring the bottom of the basin to make it into a wetland basin. There will be some raised fingers and some landscape planting within the bottom. We are holding the bottom elevation, however. So actually, in some instances, we'll be bringing up the bottom elevation in a few key areas.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Brent,
Or if Randy and Todd have no further comments or questions, and the board doesn't, we can move on.
thank you, Randy and Todd.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Alan.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a
Penny.
nice evening. Thank you.
Yep, you too.
Take care.
I think that takes me to my last item, which would be a stormwater management plan related item and goes back to the Twin Pines Stormwater Management Plan that was processed several years ago. The applicant had submitted as-built back in 2019. During that review process, there was some slight stabilization issues in some areas as a final item to that project. The applicant has recently reached out to the township and indicated that those areas had been addressed and had requested the release of the remaining $2,000 in financial security that was being held to ensure the proper completion of those items. The original motion was worded when the engineer's report was submitted last week to have Tony confirm at some point in time, and I think Tony's able to report that he has since done that. And you're satisfied with the
Yeah,
item?
Brent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was out on site actually before the meeting, a couple of hours before the meeting. The site is stabilized. Everything has grass growing in it. We just had to wait for the snow melt to be gone so we could see exactly what existed, and it looks to be compliant.
So the motion would be to authorize the release of remaining financial security in the amount of $2,000 for the Twin Pines Stormwater Management Plan, period.
Anybody here representing that?
I did not expect anybody.
Okay, I'll make that motion. In a second.
Second that.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
I think that's it for me, unless anybody had any other further questions or comments.
Doesn't look like it.
If
Thank you,
not,
Brett.
thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, fuel sharing agreement for 2021 and 22 with the school district.
Correct. This is the same as we entered into last year. We are doing bulk purchase with the Cocalico School District. There's a couple different municipalities in on this, as well as fire companies. And obviously, the more fuel we can purchase bulk, the better price we get. Was a significant savings to the township last year. So we would like to enter into that again. We did have our solicitor review this agreement, and Tom said that it is satisfactory as written. So I would need authorization for you gentlemen to enter into this agreement and sign it tonight. I think you have a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, motion be to enter an agreement signed for 2021 and 22 fuel agreement with the Cocalico School District. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it, Alan. Let me just add, yeah, we had such a great price last year when we got into this. We've been paying under $1 a gallon for our diesel fuel and not a whole lot more than that for gas. Looking at market conditions, though, I think that would be a one-year anomaly. I'm curious to see what their figures are going to come up with for this coming year. So anyway, we'll see. I think it's worked out good for the township with the police being able to pull in there when they're over in that area, fill up, and the road crew's been able to get to it in and out pretty quick. And I think it's been a win-win for us all the way around.
Okay, you seconding it then?
Yes.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, the next thing is road projects.
So Ritu has gotten our bid packages together, Mr. Chairman. Contracts 1 and 2, which is contract 1 is the paving of Rose Hill and Muddy Creek Village. And contract 2 is the seal coating of Steffi, Naperville, and Frysville roads. So you do have a schedule before you and the anticipated schedule of work going out to bid opening, when it should be awarded, and so forth. So tonight, we just really need a motion for you to accept the road project schedule as presented and proceed with the necessary advertisements. We do have our roadmaster on board, and he can explain to you how I came up with the roads to be done for the fog chip and seal process. So,
Good
Brett?
evening. Yep, good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Evening.
So basically, what happened was I went back on some of the records just from previous years and back since, I think it was 1990, on what has been done, what hasn't been done, when it's been done, and basically came up with a list of 15 to 18 roads that were, that either by the date they were done or by the condition, with me driving them and seeing what kind of condition they were in. So I had conversations with Mike from Ritu and gave him the list of roads. He has put this into his desktop analysis to see what roads, as far as the assessment and the condition, analysis of surrounding areas and potential impacts of the existing development to surface treatments, and prepared a budgetary estimates for each of the roads. The township has budgeted $80,000 towards maintenance of these roadways in the general fund. And so with that being said, Mike and I had came up with these 3 roads and the sections of these roadways staying within the budget. And once he came up with this in this certain area, I went back out after he had come up with this list and basically drove these roads again to see what kind of base repair. There's minimal base repair on some of these roads that me and the township road crew would take care of before this process is done. And I do have a kind of an analysis from Mike in my hand that he kind of wrote up as well for tonight's meeting. Basically kind of the same thing that I have said. The budgetary estimates are based upon a township's completion base repair using township forces and line striping under existing separate contract. Based upon the budgetary estimate and overall general rating, roads generally in the same portion of the township were grouped together. The roads compiled for the 2021 road project are estimated to be within the roads township's budget. The township subsequently viewed the suggested roads to confirm the overall condition following the snow melt. The township and Ritu will continue to develop a priority list of secondary roads for future improvements based upon this initial evaluation and further on.
Thank you, Brett.
I just want to throw in there too, Mr. Chairman, that we did ensure that this year that we do have the correct specs in the bid for the sewer risers, and we have double checked that with the sewer authority so we get the right product in and use the right materials that they want. So that is covered this year.
Yes, I did speak with the water and sewer department and had them get in touch with Mike and have them sent the 100% specs on the risers that they want used, and they submitted that to Mike and he put it in the bid.
Good. So the motion is to accept the 2021 East Cocalico Township Road Project schedule as presented by Ritu and Associates and proceed with the necessary advertisement of both the paving and bituminous seal coating contracts. That's a motion.
Just a couple questions, I guess, Brett. I guess we, looking through the packet here, Mike Nouse put all the specifications together on this, all the calculations and such.
Yes, he has. He put all that together based on his analysis from the roads that I've gathered and that him and I have talked about. He put all the specs together as far as put all that together for you.
Okay, it looks fairly complete, and Did you do any double checking on any of the measurements there? You're comfortable with everything you saw?
Yeah, I'm very, very comfortable. And actually, the three roads or three sections of roadway that for the oil and chip, I did go out and measure and came up with real close to the exact same measurement, which is the approximate 18,955 square yards of oil chip and fog.
Okay, good enough. You're looking for a second, Alan?
Yes.
I will second that motion.
Alan, before we move on to that motion, I want to ask you, the board, why don't we think about on the website where we have the news tab on the front page of that website? On page 104 of that packet is the drawing of exactly where the roads are, where the project is for project number, contract number 1. And on page 154 is on the map there in green is contract number 2 in the packet that we have here. I think what we should do is in that news tab, put in there the projects that are coming up for 2021 and put those 2 maps on there just so it's a nice, quick, easy reference for residents or anyone else to take a look at.
It's a nice idea, RC.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments or questions? Have a motion and a second. All in
Question.
favor? Oh, Chad.
June has a question for you.
Yeah.
I might have missed what you said, what the 8 roads were that you were gonna have redone besides the. Tell me what the roads are again that you said?
Can you hear?
For the oil chip and fog?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's Steffi Road, Naperville Road, the 2 sections of Naperville Road, and the 2 sections of Friesville Road.
And she'd also like to know what you're going to overlay.
We are overlaying the Rose Hill development and the Muddy Creek Village development.
You have a timetable on Rose Hill?
I do not, with it going out to bid tomorrow. Will be out to bid tomorrow in the newspaper. At this time, I do not have a timetable in front of me.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Alan,
Mr. Chairman, if
you have anything else?
so according to our schedule, the issue for the notice to proceed to the contractor would be May 3rd. And completion of construction of all of our projects would be by August 31st.
Thank you, Penny. Appreciate it.
Okay, yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, department reports. Police Department, Chief.
Good evening.
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 I will keep it short and sweet. Things are going well. Officer Odenwald is progressing through the FTO program. Officer Gonzalez will tomorrow be finishing his first week on the FTO program. Things are going well. We are moving forward, scheduling some training for officers throughout the year. Things are beginning to open in reference to training center. So we are trying to get officers in, scheduling training as quickly as we can. And the only other thing I have is Officer Logan High has had his year in, or his first year in, and he has successfully completed his first year of employment and the field training program. So I would ask for a motion that Officer Logan High be removed from probationary officer status due to the fact that he completed this first year and the first year FTO program.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it, Alan.
Okay, any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Sure. And basically that's all I have tonight.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Sure.
Zoning Officer, Tony.
Yes, good evening, everybody. As usual, I'll have a full report at the next meeting, unless the board has any questions for me.
Okay, any questions of Tony? Okay, thank you. Roadmaster, I think Jim.
He might have left.
He left, yeah.
He did ask
Okay.
once that was done, could he go? Because his report, as you know,
Yeah,
he, along with the other department heads, report at the second meeting of the month. So,
okay.
Correct.
MS4 stormwater report. Ken,
Yes, couple things going on. I'm meeting tomorrow morning with Brett out at the Stony Run Stream next to the Township Building. We're gonna look at and discuss the stream bank renovation project there. And after that, we're planning on going over to parts of the Reamstown Heights subdivision and look at some of the old stormwater pipes there to start trying to figure out what condition they're in. And this is relative to the community development block grant that we're going to be applying for. Let's see, the live steak nursery that we're going to be planting adjacent to Stony Run by the Township Building. I got word today that we are going to get volunteers from UGI to help do the planting there.
mhm.
And that'll probably be somewhere around Earth Day that'll take place. Spring. The other main thing going on is we've been working on the documents that are going out on the bidding for the farmers to put some of their land into our program to be used for MS4's sediment reduction projects. Jeff Mitchell's been working with me on this. The letters are in review. We had some questions I sent out to Tom Goodman today. Hopefully we'll get an answer shortly, but we're going to be sending out a booklet on clean water and farming to the farmers in the township, both inside and outside of the urban growth boundaries, or the census urban area. And the ones that are in the census urban area who'd be able to participate in that program to help us meet the sediment reduction requirements are also getting the bid document and explanation of that. And hopefully those materials will go out in the near future. Do you have anything you wanted to add, Jeff?
Yeah, just as an aside, I guess Penny or Ken, you didn't hear back from Tom yet today, or on.
I sent the materials over to him, but I have not had a reply.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that there's, I guess we're looking to see if a legal notice is necessary, and I'm rather certain it would be, I guess, to advertise this and let Tom would be necessary to put in that. I guess, can you put an outline together to send to him? And
yes.
So we're moving ahead with this in some ways. I guess we'll probably have a whole lot better report for the board next meeting once some of this stuff gets finalized. But you know, I'm still cautiously optimistic that we're going to be able to get some good participation in this. It'll take some sales pitches, I think, in a few areas, and you know, maybe Ken and I can put our salesman's hat on and make some progress with some of the Plain people and the other farm community in the township. So anyway, that we'll see what Tom comes back with.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any
that's all
questions?
I have right now, unless there are questions.
Okay, any questions? Chad?
Yes.
Doug Mackley, how you going?
February the 4th meeting, you had mentioned that you were going to apply for a watershed restoration and protection program grant.
Yes, that's for the upgrades for the Rose Hill Basin.
Okay, and the grant was estimated at $45,000. Is that correct?
That's correct. That was the cost estimate that Land Studies gave us for the project.
Right, and the township's take of that would have been a 15% match.
I believe that's correct. Yes.
I guess my question now is, I'm going to address it to you and Penny. Why are you applying for the grant? Why not the township manager? That's usually a manager's job. I'm not slighting you, but every manager I've ever worked with did the grant writing.
Well, I can answer part of that. I've had a lot of experience grant writing before getting to the township, both when I was working at Bucknell University and also as president of the Reamstown Park Association for about a decade.
And how many did you get?
I don't know, probably upwards of 10 different grants over the years.
Well, again, I'm used to, I was used to, I'm not now anymore, but everybody that I know around here, the manager always writes the grants. And I know there's a guy in Denver who writes them. He wins enough to pay his salary. So, you know, it's just a question. I'm just wondering why the manager isn't doing that job. Heretofore, all our managers did it. Just a question. You don't have to answer it now. I probably won't get one anyhow, but you can ponder that.
Any other questions, comments? Thanks, Ken. She's not with us tonight.
No.
Okay, moving on to treasurer's report, list of bills.
Okay, the list of bills for this period is the general fund of $174,231.44. A streetlight fund of $13,818.98 for a total of $188,050.42. Any questions out there? Hearing none, I make a motion that we pass the list of bills as presented.
I'll second the motion. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on. PA Fire Emergency Service Institute with Jerry Ozog.
That's just been tabled. We're keeping that on the agenda, though.
Yep. North Reamstown Road and Colonel Hollow Boulevard streetlight.
Happy to say PPNL did get back with me.
Oh my
So,
goodness, that's why it
know.
snowed.
I know.
That's why it snowed.
So in order to get this project rolling, we did have to provide them with the closest pole number to that location, which Brent went out and got that for me. And we did open up a job number on that. We must create a job number before I can get any kind of prices, quotes, or to see if they're going to pick up the tab or not. So the next steps, they said, you know, within 2 to 3 weeks, somebody from their office will be calling me and we can expand on that. So, but the process has started and is rolling. So we do have a job number assigned. So.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
We had a Zoom meeting the other day with General Denver Borough on their regional map. And if they would like to go to the county and get grants for a rail trail along the railroad going through the township. And after listening to that Zoom meeting, I'd like if we'd write a letter saying that we're in favor of it. Also, that will help Denver get the grant to do the study of that rail trail. What's the feeling of the board?
Yeah, Alan, hearing about that, it's I think this is a coming thing. You know, I know that in Ephrata and Lidditz and other areas where they have these bike trails, walking trails, they're well supported, and with Denver wanting to do that, you know, I would be excited about the idea of us hooking into that at some point if effort is there on the other side. So I'm all in favor of supporting them on that.
Any other comments or questions? Chad?
Yep, hang on. Chance Firestone.
Yeah, I'm curious as to where this rail trail is going to be.
They're looking to put it along the railroad. It'll be a study. The county
Yeah,
will.
That's all private property. The railroad, like, so are they going to be buying property from landowners, or where are we doing this?
The study will figure that all out.
for rail land anyway.
They would be asking for easement. They would be asking for easement agreements from the landowners.
And what if they don't want it?
Well, that would have to be worked out. I can't
That'll
answer.
be worked, that had to be worked out. This is just,
I mean, I can think of 100,000 better things to do with the township's time and resources, and we're putting a rail trail.
we're not putting it in. The county is doing a study about it. This is not gonna cost us well, it's gonna cost us a piece of paper to send along with Denver Borough that say that we are interested in a rail trail. That's it.
You know, the school district, Dr. Ella Musser was also at that meeting. She was very interested. Quite a few members of our planning commission were also there and heard about this. And from what I saw, they had positive feedback about these trails as well.
Does the township have it in their plans to do any reaching out to the private property owners along the rail?
This is only a preliminary study.
I understand that, but if we're studying something, we ought to notify the general public what we're studying, especially the ones that it directly affects.
Ralph?
Can I help with this for once?
Yeah.
Chance, I'm downstream from where your property is. I got 1,800 linear feet along that general corridor. Come see me. I've been through the paperwork check to see what my risks are, and I can give you an idea what yours are. So they have been reaching out. It's just been quietly between Denver Borough and the trail that goes from Harrisburg to Valley Forge. So it'll go on north in the years to come, but not right away.
Appreciate your input, Ralph. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? What's the wish of the board?
Yeah, I'm willing to support them in their effort, Alan.
What do you think, RC?
Yeah, I think you should send that letter.
Okay, Penny?
Yep, got it.
Okay. Okay, rec board's bike skate scooter park.
Okay, so I think Tara's here. Yeah. So you want to
sorry.
Go ahead.
Here again, the East Cocalico Parks and Rec Board. Just want to thank you guys for letting me speak tonight. After our meeting last week, I did go out. I was able to speak to 2 other concrete construction companies to get telephone quotes. I spoke to Hackman Construction and JP Havens Construction. I sent those quotes over to Penny along with the Armit Concrete estimate, and that was on February 23rd. And then those quotes were higher than Armit Concrete, which we expected because Matt was giving us a deal. And so Penny did send those over to the solicitor just to make sure, because they are higher, that we didn't have to go out and do an official bid for that. And the solicitor did respond on the 25th saying that we were okay to accept the lowest proposal. So I do have Matt Armit here from Armit Concrete just to kind of talk through, and he would like to share his screen if you can give him that access, Penny, but talk through the stormwater needs and the ADA requirements.
Okay, you should be clear for that, Matt. Matt, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Try and pull it up. Okay. So let me see here. Here's our layout. This is what I showed you the other week. This is where the proposed park would sit. The first order of business I think I'm going to go through is the ADA. This area here is sort of.
There's nothing showing on my screen. Just your name. Hold on. Maybe I didn't do it. Let me see here. There we go.
There you go. There
Can you see it now?
Nope.
Yep, nope. That's Penny.
Okay.
That's a flag.
Yeah, yep, you're still not up here, Matt.
How about now?
No.
It says I'm screen sharing.
Does, but I don't see it though. So
There it is.
Hey. You can see it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. You can see my mouse and what I'm directing now. Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
This is what we shared last week. This is the overlay of the park. On this one here, you can see where the path is over here. What I think would work well for an ADA, except for all. This here is based on my recollection from when we were down there. Last time I was down there, this was all covered in snow. There's a little asphalt pad off the side of the path here that could be removed, and then a path could be put in like this coming over. The path is close here. This is kind of a traffic area. This would be like a little race course thing over here. I feel like the path could come into this section here where this little raised cylinder thing is. Can everyone see what I'm talking about there?
Mhm.
Okay. So as far as the impervious area, this asphalt path that is still there, I estimate to be about 180 square feet. And the path that we would remove this little asphalt offset here and put a 5-foot wide concrete ADA compliant walking path coming into this area of the park. That's how I think we could address that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
What about stormwater? I didn't see any
The
stormwater.
stormwater, this is a basic plan that we use, a BMP infiltration trench detail that we use for some patios and additions. This is something we spoke about last time, but we didn't have a exact drawing of it, where the concrete slab here filters into a stone filter on the outside to a thickened stone clean base underneath. It seems to work in a lot of applications where you're not trying to shed a whole lot of water. And I forgive me, I forget who the person was that said last time that they approved of this sort of detail to shed the water, because we're not catching a whole lot. We're just trying to make it run off and make it make it work the lay of the land.
Mhm.
So, and this can all be included in a final drawing representation of what we're building, with some specifications of the reinforcement and the concrete, the mix design that we would be using as far as the the scope of work. So, and I can forward this to Tara, whoever would like it. This is kind of a big file right now, but I could shrink it down to a PDF and share it with you. Tara contacted me today, and I just quickly put something together so that we could all kind of look at on my screen.
Okay. Is our engineer still with us, Brent?
I don't think so.
I didn't know if he had any comments on this or not, or what the next steps would be.
I guess forward the plan to Brent to look at it, be the next step.
Okay.
Okay. Alan, if I would just get it to Tara, I can kind of crunch this all together in a nice format that everyone would understand, and I'll get it to Tara, and then she could send it over to Brent.
And all of this is included in that proposal that you sent?
Yeah, well, the ADA access would be in we quoted, because our original plan looked like this. This is the design and the layout and the construction, and show it actually tying in anywhere. So the quote I would put in for the removal of the existing pad, and again, I'm guessing on the square footage a little bit. I've stared at enough concrete and asphalt to be able to estimate, but we could get down there. I know the impervious credits are sort of important when you're doing the stormwater management.
Okay.
So did I see a price there of 21,200?
Remove the old asphalt and add 80 access ramp for 1,700. That would be on top of the 1,950. That would bring the total project cost to 21,200.
Okay, so you would have to submit a new proposal for that, and you were just squeaking under the bid limits for that. So yeah, if you get those drawings over to us and
Mhm.
the impervious coverage needs to be checked to make sure we don't go over our limits. I don't think we're close to that, but that would still need to be checked. And
Okay.
drawing to
Again,
us
because,
new
oh,
proposal.
sorry, Patty, I mean, this path coming here could be some sort of BMP that we're using with the rest of the facility. You know, we could shed the water for this pathway the same way that we are with everything else. So the impervious surface for this square feet could as nothing if we were doing that, shedding it off and put it into the BMP as shown below. You know, this is the standard that we're going to use for any of the slabs that we're pouring there.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So that would be the next steps before we can move further on that is have our engineer take a look at this before the board can give that a final approval. Okay.
Okay.
And you can get a new proposal to us as well with the adjusted cost on it.
Good.
And the engineer's not here.
No, I
No,
don't see him.
he left.
Left after his.
I sat here for an hour and a half and then he leaves. Okay.
Sorry.
Now we'll get
Alright.
you in contact with our engineer so you two can discuss things back and forth between each other and you don't have to keep running through us. All right?
Sounds great. Have a good evening.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions? Brimstone Pool Committee.
Eddie, you want to take off on that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I thought we were communicating through email. So basically, what I want to do is, I understand that the committee has to, first off, has an open forum. So basically, in order to get a committee together, I just want to understand the layout of the land as it relates to, do we need to have a chairman, a vice chairman? How is the structure going to be set up? So that's my first question. I have a bunch of questions to be ready. Did everyone hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's my first question. My first question is, how is this committee supposed to be set up? Is there to be a vice chairman, a chairman? Do people need to be voted in by the Park and Rec Board, by the Supervisory Committee? How is everything going to be structured? Because based on the solicitor, we have to, when we have meetings, they need to be open to the public. They need to be advertised. So I just need to understand how this is going to be structured so that way we can move forward and start working on things.
Well, Eddie, this is just a committee. It does have to be advertised and it has to be open to the public. I don't know that any structuring is needed. Obviously, you need somebody to lead this committee. You know,
Penny, can I jump in?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the way that the pool working group worked in the past was it was a subcommittee from the rec board.
Correct.
There was no vice chairman, president. There were no officials whatsoever. It was just
That makes it easier.
just a working group.
That's great. So basically, then I would imagine per Penny, there's probably going to be someone from the Park and Rec Board, probably someone from the Supervisory Board, and any other additional volunteers that want to contribute to this particular committee. Is that correct?
Yes, and also in the past they had a representative from the swim team.
Right.
There as well.
Working on that. So I think I have a couple people in mind that have expressed interest in it. Who from the Supervisor Committee is committing to this?
Where's RC at? Is that something that you'd be interested in dealing with, RC?
I thought Alan was doing that.
Nope,
Or
I'm
you've done
not
that
doing
in
it
the
this
past.
year. Nope. I'm not doing it this year anymore.
I don't think that has to be decided on tonight, gentlemen.
Nope.
We can just get this, start formulating some ideas of, Eddie, of who you want to have on this board and get in contact with them. I know you expect goals and actions expected from the Board of Supervisors. And, they're going to have to think about that. And, I know they haven't had time to write down their goals for you.
They don't have any goals or.
But we can start discussions here tonight.
Okay, so that would be awesome. So I'd love to understand the goals and I received all the last 3 years of 2019, 2020, or 2018, 2019, I believe, in 2020 expenses for the pool, just to understand, cash flow and what we're looking at from an expense standpoint and how we can possibly offset and work together with the swim team and other groups within the community who have interest in using the pool facilities. So what I would like to do is just understand and learn what you guys want to do, what you want to accomplish in the years past that you didn't have accomplished, and maybe pitfalls or issues that maybe you weren't, things that maybe got in the way of accomplishing those goals, so that we can vet those out. And because at the end of the day, I think we all just want to do what's in the best interest of the community, kids, and that's where I'm leaving at that. So I'm ready to type. So start spitting, firing, let me know what you want, goals, and we'll take it from there.
Well, I guess, Eddie, from my standpoint, I've looked at this closely over the years. The Reamstown pool runs deficits year after year. So does Denver. Adamstown seems to run basically an even budget. They have enough income to cover their expenses. The idea from my standpoint was always, let's come up with some new ideas, some new ways of trying to reduce that deficit. If Adamstown can have a balanced budget over there, why can't we work towards that over the years, see if we can get there as well? There's been a couple ideas that have come out of this in the past, and banners on the fence there that help benefit the swim team, and the pool share with Denver allows people to go either way. They can pay a little extra money and get that bonus pass with their membership. That's proven to be a revenue enhancer for both Denver and for our pool. So those are a couple of the ideas in the past. I'd be happy to talk with you privately to see if we can brainstorm on so many other ideas you might have as well.
Do you know who leads or who's involved with the Adamstown pool?
No, I was discussing it with a couple borough council members there. They have they had a person that was in charge of that. I'm not sure in the last year or two if that structure is still in place or not. We could find out. Their pool was closed last summer. They didn't open it, so I don't know what their plans are for this year. I've heard nothing yet, but I would suspect that they're going to open. So yeah, it wouldn't be a problem to make a couple contacts down there.
Yeah, so why reinvent the wheel if they're doing something well? Why not replicate that? Share ideas, cross-pollinate, because maybe there's things that we're doing or ideas that we have that could help them and benefit their community. So I think it's just about building strong communities, not only within ours, but also adjacent to ours.
Yes.
Because it builds a stronger Lancaster County. Those are great ideas, and I'd be willing to connect with you and have a further discussion about other ideas that you may have. I know RC last time that you and I you spoke in the group, you had mentioned a couple things such as utilizing the pool for activities, whether it be having additional I guess, parties there, like pool parties, having after, like, basically work parties there, night swims, possibly a dog swim at the end of the year, as after, as I think would do well with some of the other people, but, you know.
I think
But,
Eddie, I think the first thing we should do is get you a clean set of a baseline of what's going on in that pool. So get you a clean set of financials and a baseline of what that pool is doing and what it's done, let's say, for the last 4 years financially.
I say we have provided that with him. We did get together and give him, what, 2 or 3 years?
You
of
gave him 4 years.
information on that.
yeah, and RC, if you want to,
Let's get him 4 years.
if you want to set up a time, like, okay.
Yeah, I can touch base with you after the meeting, but I think you should look at 4 years worth of data.
Okay.
Okay. Other comments
All
or
right, so
questions?
then that's, I mean, was there anything else? I know that there was, with you, Alan, I know that you've been the leader of the pack there and kind of a liaison. Really frustrated with the situation, why you probably don't want to do it anymore, which I could appreciate that. But as far as, you know, as far as like things that you would have liked to have seen done differently and or done just in general that wasn't met, please provide me that information.
Okay.
So Eddie, I would also put this on your board's agenda. I think they meet on the 9th, if I have that date correct.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
meet
sure.
on Tuesday.
Just what the Park and Rec Board would like to see out of the swimming pool area as well.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
We move on to new business.
Nothing.
Manager's report.
So I have a more detailed report the last time, but just since our last meeting, as you know, we have been applying for CARES Act monies, which is a form of a grant to help assist in all the COVID stuff and expenses. And you do have to formally submit for that money. So I took that upon myself to do that. And we did hear back from the county today that our final submission in the amount of $134,632 has been approved. And that was supposed to be mailed out today. So.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. PSTATS has notified us that they are canceling their annual spring conference due to the governor's restrictions on crowd gathering. Have been working with Eddie as far as these additional committees, the pool committee and the Stony Point Park committee. We've been exchanging emails back and forth and a lot of questions have been asked. Like I said, we did submit figures to Eddie on the pool. I got with Judy on that. Some items we haven't processed. The mowing proposals are going out as requested. I've attended Planning Commission meeting, the Denver Borough official map meeting. We've had 1, 2, 3 meetings with potential land developers and different projects within the township. We met with the traffic impact fee solicitor, Matt Krem, on some things, and I attended a right to know webinar. And as of 2:00 today, since our last meeting, I have read, reviewed, and responded, if necessary, to 516 emails. So that's basically what my life consists of, emails.
Yeah, definitely.
So
okay,
that's my report.
Okay.
I do have for Mr. Buckles at our last meeting ask what the budget was for our engineering. So in our general fund, between all the different departments, we have $132,500 budgeted for our engineer. And to date, out of those departments, we spent $12,499. So
okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Penny.
You're welcome.
Public comment, non-agenda items. Please state your name before you do the public comment. Chad.
All right, come on over here, June, so I can see you.
Two questions. As I'm sure most of us have received our tax bills, it says on the tax bills that the tax collector's office is closed. In my opinion, that's totally unsatisfactory. How do you respond to that?
He's a totally independent agency. We have no control over him. So I'm sorry, we can't do anything about it. We can ask him to be open, but he's an independent agent. He's an elected official. It's independent of the township.
Don't you find that unsatisfactory?
I'm sorry.
Don't you think you have a better rate of return if the office is open?
Probably, yeah.
Well, if it works for us, doesn't he?
Just as a comment, June, there's been residents that have had questions in the last month or two. They call and leave a message and he gets back to them right away to answer whatever their concern is.
No drop box to leave your taxes.
No,
I think there's a mail-in option on that.
That's it. Isn't there, why isn't there a box there for you to put the taxes in? Or why isn't there somebody in the office there to collect the revenue, to collect the payments?
It's been his policy that he's there on appointment only until tax collection time comes around. You'll have to discuss that with him, I think, if you want any further information.
Doesn't say that on the tax bill.
Okay. I'm sure he'll answer your questions if you leave him a message.
Mhm.
Okay, I have a question for Penny. I didn't get to ask it fast enough. How many grants have you completed since you were hired as a manager? And how much revenue did that get us?
have that information. I personally not wrote any grants except this CARES Act one.
And that was
For this year.
134,000.
And that was, yes, you know,
Was that a grant?
37,000.
Was that a grant?
So you have to apply for it just like you do a grant. There's, you know, applications to fill out, stuff to submit to be reimbursed.
But that's not a grant.
There's a lot of paperwork for that, though.
But it's not a grant.
Okay.
My question is
Maybe
how,
not technically a grant, but I did bring in $137,000 for this township
okay, so that's not a grant.
that I had to apply for. And if I
Okay.
wouldn't have applied for it and did the work, the township wouldn't got the money. So
Since you've been an employee of the township, how much in grant revenue have you procured for the township?
I already answered that, June. I said I haven't applied for any grants.
Isn't that in your job description?
I didn't get a job description, June.
Is the human resource booklet finished yet?
And I think we can move on with that from that line of
Yes, I think
questioning.
we can move on now. Do you have any other questions?
They have an she tried to answer the questions. We don't need to just keep going over and then being harassing about it. So we can move on from that.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
I have every right to ask, and you know that, Joseph. You know that. I have every right to ask a question.
Okay, thank you for your comment. We're moving on. Ralph, you have a comment?
Question. It's not a comment.
Okay.
What's
Okay,
the
what's the question?
I'll repeat it for you again. I'd be happy to. I asked how much in grant revenue has Penny procured for the township since she's there? And my follow-up question on that is why don't you know?
She said none.
Okay, and then I asked also about the human resource booklet. Is that finished yet?
Human resource booklets.
Our new personnel policies, that's in the works.
Okay. Ralph,
All right. Can you all hear me?
yeah,
Okay. I have a question for you, Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir.
Why is Mr. Kneff here again this session?
Because there are legal matters that have been put forth to us. So I wanted legal representation while we have the meeting.
Okay, well, I thank you for dialing Mr. Kneff in a little closer on this session, but last session, he was pretty brutal. He was approaching a First Amendment right violation in multiple occasions. Will he be joining us again for follow-up meetings?
It depends if legal things get worked out in the meantime. There's legal things still in the wind that have not been finalized, and that's why he's here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, I got two more over here at the fire company.
Yep.
Yeah, Alan, it's Susie Mac.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Alan?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. And this is a question for you. Piggybacking on Ralph. Who requested the attorney at this meeting?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Mr. Vice were you?
There are underlying legal matters that I'm not going to discuss.
Wait a minute, Alan. We're here at a public meeting. I'm just asking some questions. RC, were you aware that the attorney was going to be here this evening? RC.
I'm sorry, ask that question again.
I said, were you aware that the attorney was going to be at this meeting tonight?
No, I was not.
You were not. Mr. Mitchell, were you aware that the attorney was going to be here tonight?
I was thinking that he would be, yes.
That's not an answer. Yes or no? Did you know he was going to be here?
I was thinking that he would be, yes.
Okay, that is not an answer. So I have a yes and I have a no. Let me read you from the second class township code. That a township solicitor just serves at the pleasure of the Board of Supervisors. There's three supervisors. Three supervisors. Two have to agree to this. We're going to spend 2 hours to pay this man to sit here and watch a meeting, to not participate other than when public comment. That is not acceptable. Last meeting, I had to watch him shut down a public comment. That's what these meetings are for. That's what this segment right now is for, public comment. I'd like to know how we had one supervisor decide to pay a solicitor with taxpayer money for 2 hours and the other two supervisors didn't know about it. I need an answer. That seems like misbehavior.
Okay.
No, not okay, Alan. It's not good enough.
Any other comments?
Yeah, we got one more here yet.
Okay.
I got more than one. But since I have the floor, I'm going to go back a while, just refresh my memory. The board, we'll keep Mr. Kneff out of this. The board, who's in charge of the maintenance along Colonel Howard Boulevard? I just need my memory refreshed. What was the outcome of that discussion?
The maintenance along.
Yeah. We talked about February. So figure out. Tony was going to investigate that. And it was a question from RC to Tony. Tony, who was it? Who'd you come up with?
We are responsible from 222 to 272, I believe, Doug, was the response I gave the first time.
Okay, so we're from 272 to 222. Okay, thank you. Next question would be from a meeting in June. And I was just going over this and I couldn't figure out, I just need an answer or a clarification. Jeff made a comment. You're talking about some runoff on a piece of land across from the township building. And I wrote it down the way Jeff said it. Yeah, I'll help you follow up with that. This was Tony's report. We've documented a lot of silt leaving that property, and you know a change of practice there can make clean water coming off rather than silt infested. Who's the property owner?
I think Tony and Ken were working on that. A filter sock was installed there to take care of the sediment that was leaving that property.
And who's
It's still there if you want to go take a look.
the question was whose property is it?
I can answer that, Doug. I believe that property that you're talking about is owned, I believe, by Cherry Place Properties or the Hollinger family. And myself, Ken McCrae, and Brent Lead met out on site with the farmer who is farming that property, and also the caretaker that works for that family was out on site, and we discussed several options there. The farmer has agreed, and Ken McCrae can add some of this to it. Ken, you can jump in when you like, but he was going to change some farming practices with the way the rows were going down that field. They did install so I believe some 18-inch silt sock along there. And Ken, if you'd like, you can elaborate on some of that.
Yeah, he changed the direction of the plowing. There is an area where he was plowing straight up and down the hill, which leads to a lot of erosion because of the velocity of the water going over the area. And so he changed that. He also added the silt sock. And since he did that, it has made a significant difference. There's a lot less sediment getting out onto the road there.
Okay, thank you. Well, yeah, he said there's a lot less, and you guys are going after the MS4, which is a good thing, but, and I remember a comment, Ken, that you made some time ago. I had asked, we're going to prosecute all these people, we're going to do this and that, but when a farmer causes silt to be in a road, there's nothing we can do about it. That was your comment. Is that still true? So
I don't recall having said that.
Well, let me rephrase it. Is that true in any case that you really can't prosecute a farmer for silt coming out in the road?
I don't know the legal answer to that one. Maybe the attorney could answer that for us, but the regulations under which businesses are operating are different than farms. That there's a lot more leeway in what a farmer gets to do. And there's a limited amount of things that you can force a farmer to do. There are things they're required to do. They're required to have a manure management plan. They're required to have a conservation plan, but technically they're not required to put those plans into action. They just have to have them, and that's the state law.
And just to follow up on that, Ken, that's basically a conservation district call, I believe.
Yeah, the conservation district would be involved in that.
Yep.
In terms of any enforcement actions.
Yep.
So if that were the case, and if any resident would see that happening, the first call would be to the conservation district, and hopefully a repeated call would get it straightened out. We don't know. We're gonna spend a lot of time and effort to do something, to try and correct something that can't be corrected by law. It seems like a waste of time and effort is all I'm not saying it's bad, but if you can't regulate it, why even bother?
Well, to answer that question, you know, it's been proven that quality conservation practices put in place on farmland can reduce the erosion that's happening. The property you're talking about is in the urban boundary district, and you know, I'm hopeful that maybe we can make some progress there on that specific property to get a more compliant conservation plan in place. Sometimes it's baby steps, but we're working towards a goal there.
Okay, thank you.
Since they've been cooperative and working with us, it's a possibility that might be one of the sites that we get to actually work on for the MS4 credit, if they're willing to make the changes there, which is quite possible. We don't know yet. We haven't run that past them.
And I think that's a good thing. I do. I'm not doubting it. Just seems like we're wasting time. Moving on. Going back to July, though, I saw there was a report on one of Penny's reports where the Stevens Road Bridge was work to begin in June of this year. Is that still on schedule? And what is it?
Upstate.
That's state. That's correct. I would have to check with the state on that. So I haven't heard anything about that in a long, long time now that you mentioned that.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice to know. I mean, there's a big businesses along there. You'd sort of like to know if that bridge is going to be shut down.
Yeah, and when, you know, if what I recall from that, they were going to notify obviously everyone in plenty of time, have the new route planned on how traffic was supposed to go. But yeah, now that you say that, it's been months since I've heard anything on that, sir.
Okay, I have one or two more. Back in July, you announced the building is going to be shut down and you're going to work from home. There was a comment that there was 5 additional licenses bought for the computers.
That's correct.
Two of them, one went to Tony and one went to Judy. So that means there's 3 additional licenses for Ken McCray, Arlene, and one's for a supervisor. So you only have, out of 3 supervisors, only one of them has a license to work at home? What's the deal? I don't understand it.
Well, I work on my home computer. Everything gets sent through township email that I need to do.
So you're doing it through a private computer, intermingling township and business, and township and your own business together.
It's just through the township email, sir.
All right, that's so RC, you don't have one then, or what? I mean, there's 3 supervisors, there's only one license.
So Mr. Mackley, those licenses are so that we can log into our system within the township. None of the supervisors have access to that common drive or log into that.
So how do you communicate if you can't log into the system?
We communicate through email, but they don't have access to the common drive and all the documents. And that's what those licenses are for. So we can remote into our actual desktop and access our systems. The supervisors don't have that.
So let me explain, let me add to what Penny just said. I am strictly accessing the email server for East Cocalico.
Correct.
I have 0 access to any of the network drives for East Cocalico.
Correct.
There is an office that it has access to the other drives.
Okay. All righty. I guess that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment?
One more minute coming up. Hang on.
Hi.
Can you hear Alan?
I can't hear her.
Yeah, I'm sorry, her name again?
You're on, Mizzy?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I found this document on the YouTube from the Board of Supervisors meeting of November 1st, 2018. And I don't know if you recognize, it's like a review of the budget. It talks about trends for taxes over the years. It trends taxes back 18 years versus inflation. It talks about, it discusses next steps. It budgets for the year versus prior budgets and actuals. It puts a lot of the budget into pie charts and graphs. And so I was wondering, I had to do screenshots off to YouTube for this. Is there a way that we could have this on the East Cocalico Township website for everybody to have easier access? And is this type of planning something that you do on an annual basis when you develop your budget on a yearly basis? How many times a year do you address your budget? Is it a biannual process?
Budget is done every single year, and that process has already started for this year. You know, there's already discussions in the work. Discussions happen all throughout the year as to what different departments are going to need. Our financial director will start putting together hard numbers, probably starting in June, July, so the board has something to look at in August. And then budget discussions actually happen all throughout the year. I think what you're looking at is the strategic plan that was put together by the previous financial director and RC, I believe. That is from 2018, so that is outdated. I would not want to put something up on our website that is outdated. But if you would like a copy of that, so it's clearer, we do have that, and I would be happy to get that to you if you just want to send me an email.
Is this something that you think, a working document that you would post on the website? It talks about plans for the future, tactical plans, strategic plans, things that are in the works.
So all those discussions would have to be made by the board. So when those discussions happen, you know, we have budget meetings throughout the year, as I stated before. So, you know, those kind of things, you know, and we are, you know, working towards that 5-year plan. You know, we have discussed that about getting a 5-year road plan together. I think you heard me talk briefly at the last meeting. If you listen to that, you know, we're starting to talk about our stormwater infrastructure. You know, 5-year plans definitely need to be put into place, and this stuff all has to start being looked at seriously.
Let me add here and correct a couple items. That plan is not necessarily outdated. That plan was done as a snapshot of 2018. That was done by Scott Russell, myself, Jill Corden added some information in there, and then Elizabeth Dorneman. That was a snapshot in 2018 of historical trends and what happened in East Cocalico. Then it rolled into a supporting document for the 2019 budget with remember that, Alan? And I think Doug remembers this also. So there were a number of tactical items that were going to be looked at, and we started addressing as supporting items for the 2019 budget. And it also contained the third portion of that was actually a strategic view for future analysis and for future items to be worked on with all future budgets. So it really contained 3 key components. One was this historical snapshot. The second one was the tactical portion. And then the third portion of that document was really the strategic outlook going forward.
And then last year we lost our financial administrator, which threw a monkey wrench in it.
Let me also add, Saran, one of the things that the board initiated last year was monthly reports by our financial administrator. Prior to that, you'd come to a meeting for months and months and months, and there'd never be any budget updates. That's something that was initiated last year on a monthly basis to show where we are on a yearly basis, you know, monthly basis in the year relative to the budget. So she'll be on the, I guess, next meeting. Questions, she'll be able to help answer that for you.
Okay. It's really nice because it graph in
it makes it more graphic and more I guess, relevant to the citizens. So I don't know if it's appropriate to put something like this that you're working.
Ron, as we're working on the budget, that can certainly be done. It's very easy to take an Excel spreadsheet and turn it into a pie chart. And I certainly agree with you. Having pictures like that is just so much simpler to understand, you know, rather than looking at a bunch of numbers. If you can see it in color like that, you're 100% correct. And that's something that can be built into our budget process that coming up. Like I said, you very easily can take an Excel spreadsheet and put a couple commands in there and it'll turn into a pie chart or a graph or whatever you want. So that's stuff that's very easily can be done.
I thought we did that in our newsletter during the year, put a pie chart like that in.
Are your newsletters accessible on your webpage? I haven't found them. Are old newsletters on there?
No, they're not
They just go
we
out.
mail them out and that's it. Yeah.
Lisa's telling me that
Actually,
yes,
they
they are. They are accessible on the website. I'm not.
Oh, they
sure.
are.
They aren't right up front. You have to go in a ways, and I had to look around for them, but they are there.
Oh, okay.
Going back several years.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other public comments?
Hang on, I think I got one more yet. Yep, I think Doug wants you again.
Yeah, I did find one other comment or question I had. I think it was back in October or November, we were sitting here doing the Zoom thing. And Jeff, you started talking about a road report that you got from our engineering firm. You were waving some papers around. I looked back through every meeting that I could find on YouTube. And I can't see anywhere where that kind of report was authorized by the board to spend taxpayers' money to get a report. Do you remember that, Jeff?
Yes, I do. The manager specifically is given a spending limit by the board up to $2,000. That was one of the township engineers that went out with the roadmaster to check on specific developments and help prepare for the 2021 budget. So yeah, he spent, I don't know, several hours one morning with the roadmaster looking at that. That is available if you'd like to see a copy of it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. From what I understand, the manager works at the request of the supervisor.
Correct.
Manager has no ability to spend money without authorization from the Board of Supervisors. That's by the second-class township code. So you're telling me the board gave her permission to do that?
The board has given her specific permission to spend up to $2,000 and on any one project that she sees fit.
So if I'm being hypothetical, she sees something every month, she could spend $2,000 a month of our money without, that's just it, she could do it.
Well, I would.
You made the comment, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no. I've only seen that come up a couple times when I'm paying bills.
Well, again, I think that should have gone through the, heretofore, that was always something that was voted on in public session. So the taxpayers knew where their money's being spent. As again, this is an appointed position, you're elected.
Right. It was gathering information for the 2021 budget process.
But one supervisor can tell her to do that. Is that what you're saying? It doesn't take the three of you.
She can
Only
do it.
if you decide you'd like her to do something, you can ask next month, or she can ask. When did that change?
Yeah, I don't know that it changed, but in the beginning of last year, that was what the board had instructed her, that she's free to spend up to $2,000 on any one item.
We're just trying to totally understand, because this is the concept. So basically, whose idea was it to get that proposal from Ritu? Was it yours, Jeff?
It was my thought that that was needed for the budgeting proposal for 2021.
You're allowed as one supervisor to tell your manager to go ahead and spend that.
Well, I don't know whether the chairman might have been consulted on that as well.
I think I was.
Consultant? You know, I don't know, but we were at this 24 years and it was always a board decision. So I guess things changed. I'm gonna have to be talking to PSATs or someone and find out about this. This is unbelievable that one supervisor and a manager can, you know, override two others. I mean, this isn't the first or the second time now.
I need a drink.
Two supervisors tonight who didn't even know the attorney was gonna. That quite interesting.
Well, and this is why
we
we
move on?
shut things down, just because it gets so repetitive over and over and over and over again. And you can make the comment, the board will take that into consideration, but then we have to move on at some point. This is supposed to be, I think 5 minutes is the resolution, 5 minutes of public comment per person, a maximum of 30. I think we're at about 55 minutes of public comment tonight because it's the same things over and over and over.
No, you're wrong. No maximum. There's a limit of 5. You show me the maximum in our ordinance that was put in. If we helped draft that, it was 5 minutes.
Per subject.
Per person, period.
Per person, Joe.
Yep.
No 30-minute limit. Nothing.
Yes, 5 minutes, 5 per person with a max of 30 overall for everybody to come up.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Show us the
Okay. I have 2 announcements. The Cocalico Leaders Meeting will be held at 7 Tuesday, March 23rd at the Denver Recreation Center. The next meeting, unless the board wants to change, it will be Zoom. What's the wish of the board? It was advertised as Zoom for the next meeting. Do you want to keep it that way?
My thought is, yes, one more time, Alan. I've been watching the Lancaster County numbers. They are dropping as far as positives in the COVID. We're basically getting back to where we were in October when we were in public meetings. It's my thought that our first meeting in April should be a public meeting. Unless something crazy happens with the numbers, you know, I'm thinking we're over the hump and it's time to meet again.
I have a later resignation I want to read. Dear supervisors, please accept this formal notice of my resignation from the position of Township Supervisor at East Cocalico Township effective 4 weeks from today, making my last day holding elected and appointed positions March 31st, 2021. After careful consideration, I've made the decision to resign and spend more time with my wife, Monica, and family. Working for the citizens of East Cocalico Township has been a wonderful experience that has afforded me valuable opportunities to learn and grow. I'm incredibly grateful to have the opportunity to work with this organization. I wish East Cocalico Township continued growth and success in the future. And I can motion to accept this letter. I need a motion and a second.
Wow.
I need a motion. I need somebody to make the motion and somebody second it.
Let me catch my breath a minute, Alan. I'll make a motion to accept the letter.
RC,
Regrets, Alan, with regrets.
I need a second, RC.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night. Thank you.